have no excuse to fail. So you have no other option than school is not just your whole life, exam is not just your whole life. Your mental health is also at stake in this medical school or in this studying thing that we are doing. The number one study routine that works for me so well, and I believe it works for other medical students, is that sometimes that we can go through past questions and you realize that I read this thing yesterday. I just read this thing this morning. Why can't I remember this answer? Whew. You or my pediatric test is in 4 or 3 days time, and I'm scared. I'm anxious. I feel unprepared. Not like I've not been preparing, but you know that feeling you get when you're preparing for an exam, especially med school exam. That feeling you get of, have you read enough? Hope you're reading what is in line with what you're being taught. Hope you're reading what they're likely to set. That is the phase I am right now. I hope this camera is seeing, please. My test is on Thursday, that is 4 days from now, and a lot has been happening lately. I'm just coming back from church and I just decided to make this video to show you how, or to take you through from now to the test period, right? So a lot has been happening, right from the staying up late at night, waking up in the morning, going for classes in between and posting in between, because you will not say you're going to stop your posting or your classes because of tests. They will tell you that because you're not even coming for posting, that's why you're not going to write that exam. But anyways, so I'm just trying to fit this into my schedule while still reading and preparing intensively for this test. To be honest, it's not easy. The reading is not easy. Anybody that tells you that reading is easy, hey, it's really not easy, right? It takes a lot of sanity, mental health, discipline, motivation to sit down one place and say that you want to read. So a lot of things has to come in place for you to keep up with reading for an exam, because you have no excuse to fail. So you have no other option than just to read, right? And you just have to come down with having a study routine that helps you pull through all this bulk information that you're about to access, right? Now, the number one study routine that works for me so well, and I believe it works for other medical students, is reading from the first day lecture starts, from the first day you start learning. Because hey, if you don't read from that first day, you're just going to, it's more like you're planning up workload for you that you might end up not finishing. Now, this might sound so. There are many students that have said, I will read from the day lecture starts, I will read from the day school resumes, but you don't find yourself there. You just find yourself exam is here and you've not read anything. Now, it's not as if it's easy for me per se. If each student, or if most of us even say we are saving $1 for each time we have said this, I will read once lecture starts, you will see that you will have a whooping sum of $10,000 to your name. And I'm not even capping. If this happens to you, or if this has happened to you, do let me know in the comment section. But we studied that reading from the first time of your lectures is a big breakthrough or way maker for you as a student, especially as a medical student. Now, how does this help? Definitely, there are lots of workload in medical school. There are a lot of things you have in your schedule, right? And you can't finish this if you don't start on time. Even if you're not understanding, believe me, the first reading you're going to read, the first time you're going to open this book, you're basically you're basically not going to understand what you're reading. But then you're just looking at this thing for the first time, your brain is registering that yes, okay, something new is coming into my head, and your brain is processing all of that, images coming into your head, and you're trying to register all of those into your head, right? You've read this thing for the first time, you've read this thing for the second time, and if you read it for the first time, there will always be time for you to read it the second time. And when you read it the second time, start your second reading, you begin to realize that this thing is more understandable. This thing is, you're understanding it better, you're visualizing it in a better way, and it's more easier for you to practicalize. Now, when the third reading comes, it's more like, okay, we are getting there. Then imagine when a fourth reading comes. Like, it's not like I've read my books for 4 times, so, but I know there has been repeated reading of, some information I have in my head right now. So when you have this multiple times you've read this thing, it will be very hard, or not really easy for you to see a question and you won't be able to think of something to write, or think of something to pen down. So that is why you have to, it's always advisable that you just read from the first time that you start learning. Even if you're not consistent with your reading, but at least just be opening your book after every lecture you have. Let the time the lecturer was in class not just be the first time and only time before exam starts that you're going to read that topic or know that topic. And before you know it, because definitely in med school, you don't have one lecturer, two lecturer, three lecturer, there are a whole lot and a whole topic for them to teach. So once you started this from the beginning of the semester or what have you, the time school starts, you find out that as time goes by, you're actually going with this lecturer's pace, you're going at their pace, and this information, they're not more still, they are somehow freshened and refreshed in your head, right? So when it even gets to the exam period, it's not something for you to, it's not something that you start trying or cracking your head to recall. It becomes easier and better for you to revise, understand more, go through past questions. Coming to this past questions part, even now, same as I am, there are sometimes that we can go through past questions and you realize that I read this thing yesterday. I just read this thing this morning. Why can't I remember this answer? It's as if the answers are just flying in your head. It even looks as if you've never seen that question before. I'm not capping. It looks like you've never seen that question before. But somehow I don't know, but that's why it's always better for you as you're reading your books, read it with past questions. Look at some past questions that has been, set in the past. Why? Because using past questions helps you, gives you a direction in your reading, gives you a structure of how you can answer these questions that you know, this information that you know in your head. You can just be reading verbatim, studying, right? You just know everything, right? But it past question streamlines this information into a particular way. I don't know if you get, but with using past questions to study helps a whole lot because you already know the pattern of this lecturer, you will know the kind of structure or format you're going to use to answer this question. And in so doing, because you've read this book before and now you're using past questions, so because of that past question, you're still going to revisit what you've read before. And in essence, you've read this in the first time, you're reading this in the second time, and to give you a better understanding. And definitely, you're still going to do revision. That is more like the third time you're going to go through that particular information and to give you a clearer clarity of what you're reading and what you're preparing for. Mental health is also at stake in this medical school or in this studying thing that we are doing because school is not just your life. Studying for exam is not just your life. You have your social life, personal life, and other things that you just do in between businesses and a whole lot. That if you try to jump pack all these things, it might give you a mental breakdown. You might even end up getting confused, not even knowing your left and right any longer. So the earlier you start studying, the easier for you to balance other things you have aside. So if you're not someone that probably can just sit down in a day and say you're studying for 6 hours straight up without doing any of that, without doing any other of your extracurricular activities like looking into your business or what have you, then you can break this your study period into little bits. Let's say you're going to study for 6 hours, right? Now study for the first 30 minutes. It stimulates you, okay, and before you know it, you might want to say that from your 30 minutes turns into 1 hour, or and so have you. So if you say you're studying for 30 minutes and at a point you feel your head is saturated, you need to do something else. You can now use 30 minutes break or 10 minutes break and look into your business or social media, your pages and all of that. Then still come back to reading because you have to read, you're a student and you have to read. But this just helps you not make, this helps your brain not to not get saturated so fast. And this also helps you to do your other extracurricular activities. So this is why we also have to preach on reading for the first day school starts or from the reading immediately after the lecturer is done teaching, because this just helps balances out everything you have to do with your life and still makes you maintain your sanity and not rushing through everything at the end of the day or towards when exam approaches. School is not just your whole life, exam is not just your whole life. You also need to have time for personal care, self-care and research. Okay, because this also help rejuvenate your body, rejuvenate your brain to even access or get more information stuck into your head. Despite all the chaos, they run into class, they trying to be late nights, waking up on time. Your body needs rest still. You just have to set a time that you need to sleep. Sleep is being productive too. Anybody that's saying that sleep is not productive is a liar. Sleep is productive too. So you just need to rest, calm your body down, give yourself that grace of, okay, we are getting there, but let me just rest a bit. Try to re-strategize what, check if what you're even doing is it even working for you. What you're reading, are you even understanding what you're reading? Your business plans, are they dying, or are you balancing it well enough with your study? We plan, we strategize, think about the new things you want to do, because definitely as we are growing, as we are moving, as we are studying, there are things we want to start up, businesses we want to start up, and all of that. Your time or your whole everything doesn't have to end in school. So you also have to re-strategize, rethink, replan, repurpose to know, to balance all these things. So at the end run, you're still an A person standing, you're still an A student standing in your school, in your class, and you're still an A person. Your game is still up there in your business and in every other thing, every other lifestyle of yours. So this is basically it. So this is basically it, my fam, my this young family. This is basically what has kept me to this point of getting ready for my pediatrics exam in 4 days. I've been in 3 days. Though I know I've been preparing, but at the same time I feel I'm anxious, really. I'm scared. Anything you want to say, but I know I'm going to, this phase is going to pass, and I'm going to pass through this in flying colors, because why not? I cannot be reading in vain. I cannot just be reading and everything will go in vain. I cannot have a living God who is up there looking at me as I'm reading and I don't play. Anyways, this video is going to go up definitely after the exam. So if it goes up, then the exam went well. If it does not go well, this video will still go up, but definitely the exam, the test, it's not even an exam one. This is how I'm already feeling. This is just a test. It's not even the whole 30% of the test, just a part of the 30% of the test. Anyway, definitely it's going to go well. So wish me well, guys. Wish me luck. And if you're a student, always implement this. Try to always read as soon as your lecturer teaches, as soon as that lecturer leaves that class, because it's going to go a long way in the long run. You can think what other tips that you're trying to use, but for now, I'm going to prepare for my pediatrics test.